Good afternoon. We've made it through lunch and we're hitting the home stretch. As Capital One thought about its contribution to this conversation, we thought one of the ways that we could be helpful is actually sharing and highlighting one of our many nonprofit partners who's engaged in doing the work around skill development, especially digital skill development. And we thought about the Knowledge House for a couple of reasons. I think a lot of these messages have been reinforced throughout the day, but I'll highlight them. Number one, we believe, as does Knowledge House, that talent is everywhere, but access is not. So what Knowledge House is really in the business of doing and what Capital One is investing in is unleashing potential where it exists already and we just didn't know it was there. The second thing that we fundamentally both believe is that we do work with communities, not to them, or God forbid, for them. That means we start with really respecting and honoring the resident expertise in a community and build from there, and you're gonna hear about that from the Knowledge House as well. And the third, I think, that was reinforced in an earlier panel is that we believe at Capital One that the value proposition is really a circle. We are honored to be investors in the work at Knowledge House, but we get so much more. One, Jerelyn and other executive directors like her are unleashing potential that are going to yield the next great associates at places like Capital One. But number two, when we send our associates and volunteer, whether it's skill-based or hearts and hands, we come back changed and we come back better. And our associates need and desire to have that impact in these communities and also to learn from these communities. Nonprofits like the Knowledge House help us pull our blinders off of our own eyes to see a broader picture, to develop products and services that make a difference in everyone's lives. So Jerelyn, I'd love to turn it over to you to share a little bit more about the Knowledge House.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Catherine, for those really warm words. I'm really excited to be here with you all today. It's an exciting year for the Knowledge House because we are celebrating our 5th anniversary this year. And so I'm eager to share a lot of the things that we have learned over the past few years. So first of all, the mission at the Knowledge House is to empower and sustain a talent pipeline of technologists from low-income communities. And the way that we sustain this pipeline is by providing technology education programs across the learning pathway. So you can see that we start with exploratory and exposure programs at the K-12 level and for the broader community. These programs focus on STEAM exploration and digital fluency skills so that everyone is introduced to the opportunities within tech. And then we have our adult learners that are really looking for tech jobs. And for those students, we offer an Intro to Tech course that focuses on web design skills. And then we offer advanced job training that focuses on software development jobs. Because we have these programs across the learning pathway, my co-founder and I feel like we have created a model that does not leave people out. We are literally meeting students where they're at. And we have reached students from different populations with different cultural barriers to employment and at different proficiency levels and at different points in their academic and career journeys. Something that my co-founder and I have observed, especially in the last 3 years, when we really started to assess our alumni data, is that we kind of got it wrong 5 years ago. You see, I started the Knowledge House because I was frustrated with the myth of college or bust, right? We were sending all of our students into college careers and saying that was the only pathway. And I knew that wasn't true. And so the program model we created really was for students that weren't pursuing college. And it just so happens that 80% of the students that enroll at the Knowledge House enrolled after stopping out of college or after graduating with a AA or a BA. And so throughout the 5 years, we have acknowledged about 5 pathways that we have been supporting, and they all look different. So I want to present those to you today. So let's start with Jennifer. Jennifer is a software engineer at Kimi, and she represents what we call at the Knowledge House the alternative pathway. She started at the Knowledge House, she took an Intro to Tech course, and then she took 2 advanced courses. She became an expert in full-stack web development and data science using Python. And she got a full-time job at Kimi. What's interesting about Jen is that she's been with the Knowledge House for so long, 12 months or more. And because she was with the Knowledge House for so long, she even became employed with us and was teaching our high school classes. Jennifer came to the Knowledge House after attempting 2 semesters at CUNY, right? So someone like Jennifer stops out of college, or they didn't start college, and they're really looking for a long-term alternative solution. But not all pathways look like Jennifer's pathway. When we look at Leticia represents what we call a fast-track pathway. So she took our Intro to Course class, and she immediately, upon graduation, got a job at Facebook as a business analyst. How did she do this, right? Well, Leticia came to the Knowledge House with a BA in business. So she had some career skills, she had some work experience, but she wanted a career change. She wanted to get into tech. Our intro content was enough for her to take her skills and experience to the next level, right? So that's a fast track. She doesn't need to be at the Knowledge House for 12 months or so. Then, when we look at Augusto is a software and video engineer at Verizon Media. He also took the Knowledge House Intro to Tech course, but after our Intro to Tech course, he actually went to full stack for another 6 months. So he didn't take our classes at the Knowledge House. We connected him to another partner, right? And so the Knowledge House, we partner with for-profit boot camps or nonprofits that provide tech training because we understand that we can't do this work alone. And so Augusto, he represents what we call the brokered pathway or a bridge pathway. When we see Justin, Justin came to the Knowledge House after attempting college 2 times. He stopped out of Occidental College in California, came back to New York, attempted CUNY. He decided that college was not for him. Before the Knowledge House, he also enrolled at Prescolas. He enrolled at a non-degree program at CUNY, but he still wasn't getting a job. So he actually tested into our advanced courses, right? He was too advanced for our intro-level courses. And within 3 months, he especially benefited from the career training. And he was able to land an apprentice role at Microsoft in Seattle, which he just finished this fall, and now he's looking for his next employment opportunity. Right? So you can see so far that we are really supporting students as they are on-ramping or off-ramping through their careers. And the last pathway is my favorite. So Samuel, he goes to Bronx International High School, and he's a K-12 student, right? So we call these students our Head Start pathways. We all know that the earlier we start with career exposure, the better. And so after Samuel took our Intro to Tech class last summer, he became a junior coder at JPMorgan Chase, and now he's finishing his apprenticeship. He has 2 more years to go. So we know that with this pathway, we're really preparing students to pursue STEM careers, whether they are pursuing college or whether they're landing internships as early as high school.
Great.
So I'll leave you with this. As I mentioned, a lot of the students are coming to the Knowledge House after some college. And it has become increasingly important for us to find meaningful ways to partner with higher ed and make sure that students are codifying their prior learning experiences so that whether they are graduating college or not, they are taking those learnings and those credentials with them wherever they go. So thanks to Capital One, 2 years ago, the Knowledge House launched the Bronx Digital Pipeline Initiative. And we decided to form meaningful partnerships with the local CUNY colleges so that if the Knowledge House served a student that stopped out of college, or if the student has aspirations to matriculate into college, they can take a Knowledge House program and it can equal some college credits. So this is what we're doing with as many colleges as possible in the Bronx. I'll give you an example. Right now, our Intro to Tech course is aligned to 6 college credits at Hostos Community College. It means that any graduate of our program can matriculate into the college with 6 credits, and they don't have to start from scratch. It also means that if a student decides to not matriculate into Hostos, they can still put some college equivalency on their resume, and that resume will get picked up by employers. It won't get filtered out because they don't have college experience. And so this is just what it looks like in the Bronx to have an organized tech education ecosystem. Imagine we do this citywide, statewide, nationwide, Really, students would be able to navigate the landscape. They can make better choices about what programs and institutions they're pursuing, and they would have a clear way to communicate their credentials, experiences to employers in a way that is meaningful to them.
Thanks, Jerelyn. I know that we're short on time. I'm sure folks have tons of questions. I think we have your contact information. And I would just encourage folks, if you want to learn more about Capital One's community programming, please visit us at the About Us site. And you'll see many of the partners that are on the Bronx digital pipeline as a part of our portfolio. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.